Welcome back to Rocky Mountain Residential, a podcast from MCM Collective. I'm Kelly McBartlett.
I am Anna Yost.
And I'm Blake McBartlett.
And today we're talking about all things Compass. We're here at our Compass office in Old Town Fort Collins. So why, there's thousands of brokerages across the country. Why did you each choose Compass?
Gosh, kind of when I was looking to get into real estate, I was checking out tons of different brokerages and really ended up settling on Compass for just the national exposure that they have, and obviously the people.
Yeah, great brokers. I think making the transition from another brokerage to Compass, the thing that was most important to me was the technology for both like us as the brokerage side and our client-facing technology. It used to be 6 or 7 different platforms, is now into one, streamlined communication to the clients, all in one spot. You just can't beat it.
Yeah, I agree with both of what you said. I also love the marketing. I think it's top of the line, best in the country, best in the industry, and the network access that we have at Compass with 37,000 brokers and just great expertise all across the country, both to help our clients if they're moving, but also just learning from other people. So you spoke about technology, Blake. Compass really prides itself on investing a ton in technology. So $1.6 billion so far or more invested in technology. How do you think that makes a difference?
I just don't think you can beat it. I mean, working for other brokerages and like monthly subscriptions, like $100 in terms of like my initial investment, and just like the sheer volume of like what it can do is purely amazing. And I think being able to walk into a listing appointment and being able to share like how much our company's investing in the platform itself, that's also interfacing with the clients, I think says a lot about its purpose. Like we really are a real estate company.
Yeah. And I will kind of piggyback on that and just say the technology has just elevated the business. And I think that's something that Compass has really prided themselves on as well, is just really elevating this whole experience for your clients, for the brokers in general, and just really giving everyone so much access to streamline that whole process. Because, we've all kind of been through that process. It can be very chaotic. There's stuff tons of documents flying around. And just with that technology investment has really simplified it as much as possible.
Yeah. For our clients too,
Mostly. That's what I'm referring to. Yeah.
it definitely makes our lives easier as agents and allows us to focus more to general clients, but they're getting a very streamlined experience as well, which is not able to be replicated anywhere else, in my experience. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it just all lives in one spot. And also just decreases errors, right? For us as brokers, just passing along different documents, as long as things are living in one spot, that just makes the process easier and better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think based on these comments, I think it would probably be appropriate to talk about Compass One. So yeah, who wants to define what that resource is?
I'll take that on, Anna. Compass One is a platform. You guys know this, but is a platform that centralizes all communication for our clients, so they're experiencing their market analysis in the same spot as their home collection, which shows them all of everything that's going on in their neighborhood when they're on the market. Or if they're buyers, it shows them properties that are coming on the market, allows them to communicate with their broker about those properties and also request tours. The other things they're seeing there are insights on their properties if they're listed currently, so they can see how much traffic are we getting online, where are people seeing our property, what parts of the country are people really engaged with the property on. And the last thing is it combines all of the documents that you sign in a transaction into one spot that lives past the transaction. And also it gives you all of your dates and deadlines, both while you're under contract and as you're preparing to go under contract. Everything is laid out really, really clearly. So have you all been using this or have had clients that have been using it?
Yes. All of my clients use Compass One, and I've gotten great feedback from it. I'll speak specifically to buyers right now, that's where their saved search is. So it's almost like a social media platform, and the fact of all these things are coming on. these homes that are matching their criteria, and they're able to communicate with me strictly through that platform. So I'm able to see if like something they're interested in, they favorite the property, or if something they're not interested in, or they're able to comment and say, oh, I love this location in the neighborhood, but I wish I had these things. And so it just really does keep that open communication that I think is really important from the buyer's perspective. And like you said, like you can put the CMAs, the market analysis in there, and they can just get into that link and be able to access all that information and communicate with me.
When Compass launched this, I was really curious to see if it would favor kind of like one processor or another in terms of like buying or selling. And I feel like they did a really good job with this platform launch because it really is beneficial for both sides of the transaction and doesn't really lean better for buyers or better for sellers. And it is truly a one-stop shop.
Totally. Yeah. The other thing that I just remembered that is really cool that I didn't realize this was happening, but I got into a One dashboard the other day, a Compass One dashboard, and realized that all of our tours populate there. So when we create a tour for a buyer, all of their tours populate there. And then it also keeps a chronological order of those tours for our buyers so that they could remember last Tuesday, I saw these 3 properties. It links to those properties. And then also they see if we've done a market analysis on that property, it lives there too. So you kind of have a historical record of what you've seen and what you thought of those properties. So just one more piece that I thought was really cool. There's a lot of other technology at Compass too that's company, facing the consumer and other programs. What other things do you guys love?
Gosh, I think we were recently talking about the 3-phase marketing. Is that the time kind of to talk about just 3-phase marketing? And I don't know, have found that to be really beneficial with some of my sellers recently. Would you like to kind of dive in? I feel like you're really good at explaining it.
I love 3-phase marketing. This is my passion. Yeah, I love it. It's interesting. I've been selling for almost 15 years now, and so often for sellers, they are kind of coming to us saying like, "What do I do? Like, what's the right strategy for us to take?" And it's often not defined. That's at least been my experience, where we can say, "You might have this option to go on the market, or you could delay and do it this other way." With 3-phase marketing, it basically fits so many scenarios really, really well and gives people options. And it defines, hey, at first, we're going to list your property privately so that you can get your property ready for market. It's not going to accrue any days on market, but we can also get it out to our network, get it to our clients, potential buyers that might be around. And there might be somebody waiting for this particular type of property that would be willing to pay what you're asking for it. And you might not have to go through all the other steps, right? So critically, though, step 1, phase 1, critically, though, you're not accruing any days on market. You're not on public platforms, and you can also maintain a lot of privacy during this phase. Some people might choose to stay in that phase forever. They might want to be private forever because they have the particular privacy concerns, right? But then the second phase is coming soon. And so this is when we start digital advertising. It's typically after we've gotten all of the photos done, the staging done, and they have made all the repairs that they want to on the property. And we typically have about 1 business day to start launching this. This could be over a weekend or just a day, 24-hour period, where we can digitally advertise. We can let our network know in a very robust way that the property is available. And then the last phase is public market. That's when we start accruing days in market. The property should have gotten really good pricing feedback at this point, and all of our P's and Q's should be dialed. So we're hitting the ground running really, really well with a solid product. It's kind of similar to like a Apple iPhone launch. So Apple and other technology companies use this when they kind of softly launch and let people know that there's leaked specs about an iPhone coming out. Those are not really leaked specs. They've planted those leaks. And then they do kind of a soft launch with a big announcement on stage, and then they actually launch it in their stores when all the details are correct at the last phase. So I found it really effective. We've sold a lot of properties in the early phases, and it really helps to protect your value and minimize your time on market. What's your experience been with it?
I think we should probably break it down. The first step is like private exclusives. Yeah. What is that?
Yeah, I think what's nice about the private exclusive, kind of what you were talking about, is being able to like get, as many or as few people as you want to come check out your home, and we can get pricing feedback on that, right? Like, are we getting feedback like, oh, this is actually priced very well, or hey, I think it could go up. Whether you get brokers in there or clients looking, I think that's just a really nice way to expand your network. And then with phase 2 of coming soon, you're really just, as you were saying, just really starting to get some momentum on that property. How many times do you see things that are coming soon? You're like, oh, I can't wait till we see more photos or we could get in there. And so really, I think that's the main purpose, right, of coming soon. And also you're protecting those days on market because, everyone's like, oh, this house has been on market for 27 days. What's wrong with it? Why didn't it go right away, And I think those first 2 phases are really, really important.
Also, it kind of like creates hype.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. People like the exclusiveness of being private exclusive. Like it's very much like not a secret, but access is like really limited in terms of the public market. But if you're working with a Compass agent and you're working on like Compass One, have like a search, those private exclusives will be sent to anyone in the Compass network across the country who has an active search in a particular area that your home would fit.
If you're working with a company.
If you're working with a Compass agent, yeah. So it's like a benefit of working. And then with the coming soon, there's a new partnership, right, where Compass listings are on Redfin.
On Redfin, yep.
When it launches Compass coming soon is on Compass website and Redfin now, which is a new partnership, which is great for like national exposure.
Yeah, it's like something like 600 million users actively on Redfin that get access to those properties.
Yeah, and to with the private exclusive, and like you were saying, it's going to go into those collections of people that are looking, but it could be someone that's relocating from South Carolina, out here, but they are set up on a Compass platform in this location, and they could be seeing that property. So it's not necessarily just being local.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So great on 3-phase marketing. We love it. We love Compass One. What other things stand out to you all with programs that we have at Compass or technology?
Gosh, honestly, the branding and the marketing, it's just very like easy to digest. I know that's not necessarily, a platform per se, but I think I've gotten a lot of good feedback from buyers and sellers of just, sometimes you're getting a lot of information and you're trying to drink from a fire hose. And I think Compass does a really good job of just like making that information digestible. I know for me, when I was buying our house, it's just like you're getting so much information, so many forms. And I just love really that marketing that Compass brings to the table just at the forefront.
So you can kind of like focus on the important things, what's most important, and kind of weed out all the noise.
Totally.
Yeah, I think Compass Luxury, I think, is a really big benefit. If you're listing some like luxury threshold of the community, of access to different marketing materials and just extra like perks, I think Compass having market share at a lot of the major markets in the luxury area, I think just creates additional resources for clients that you might not be able to have.
And luxury is defined as the top 5% of any market. In our local market, that's 1.15 million and above.
Yeah, for Northern Colorado.
For Northern Colorado, Denver, it's 2.4 million and above. And every community across the country is a different luxury threshold. But to your point, Blake, that gives them access to a whole bunch of additional exposure and distribution across the globe.
Yeah.
That isn't really possible with most of the brokerages. But really great benefit to our luxury sellers.
What is goal? You said the G word, global. So I think it would be perfect to talk about the Anywhere acquisition that just happened this last quarter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was a lot of places. Everyone talking about the Anywhere.
Compass is anywhere and everywhere.
Basically, right? Yeah. And it's a huge deal in real estate, the biggest transaction ever in the real estate world in terms of the brokerage firm world. And that now means that Compass International Holdings, which is the holding company for both Compass and the Anywhere brands, have over 340,000 agents worldwide. And this includes brokerages like Christie's International, Sotheby's International, Coldwell Banker, Century 21, Cochrane. I'm sure we're leaving some out, but there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of.
It's bringing a lot of people together.
What's your take on that? There's been a lot of speculation in the industry, but coming from the world of academic
Yeah.
real estate. What's the
I talked about like independent branding, and it's been shared that all brands will be operating independently underneath those names as well, just underneath the holding company. So I think that's nice to kind of give some diversity of the brands and what people connect to. I think market share will be interesting to see in terms of like what that will look like. Through some of these acquisitions that Compass has done in the past, they've had to separate a few different pieces in terms of they were holding too much market share in certain markets.
for like monopoly?
For monopolies, yep.
Yeah.
So I think I'm curious to see, but I'm most excited about the data that we're going to collect from all of these kind of wrapping up into one. So I think we're going to have a lot more analytics that are going to be a lot helpful that we're only going to exclusively get because we are a part of the Compass brand.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm also really excited about the possibility of being able to really help anybody in the world find real estate. So we can now vet and qualify brokers that could help our clients move to Italy, move to Georgia, sell their home in Louisiana. We essentially have somebody in every part of the globe now.
Yeah. Yeah. That connection piece is going to be really pivotal for buyers, sellers, brokers, over the course of many years.
You've even experienced this recently with somebody you found a broker for in another state, right?
Totally. Totally. Yeah. And, I think just Compass has done a really good job of just expanding that network and making it easy to access those agents, right? So it's able to give me a list of people where I'm able, if I'm close with my client, I'm able to call and kind of vet some of these other agents and see, hey, who do I think would be a really good fit and care for my client as they're making this cross-country move.
Yeah. You brought it up, Blake, but briefly, but some people have been concerned that all of these brands are going to go away. So if you have a favorite Liv Sotheby's agent, for instance, or Sotheby's International agent that you work with and love, is there fear that they might be now a Compass agent?
No, I think they've made it really clear that those brands will be operating independently. Of course, I'm assuming if they wanted to come to Compass, they can, but they have shared that they're going to give this technology platform to those other companies. So I don't think there should be a concern, and I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see these brokers also start using the platform and integrating a lot of that access as well.
Well, I think, one thing that's really cool for consumers in all of this, you mentioned the Redfin partnership we'll be having coming soon. Listings go onto the Redfin platform right away. That is actually going to be happening for all Compass international holdings companies. So everybody's coming soon. Properties will be available on Redfin starting up March 16th. So that's a huge access for consumers. So
1 week.
yeah, exactly. So, I think we covered a lot of the different aspects of Compass, but one that we didn't talk about is Compass Concierge.
I was just thinking about Compass Concierge.
Yeah. So what do you love about Compass Concierge?
I just think it's a really good opportunity. I'm probably not going to be the best to define it, but I'll give an example. If I'm going to sell my home and I know, I need probably new carpet or just some new paint or really $20,000 to really fix it up or $10,000 to really fix it up the way that I need to. There's something called Compass Concierge where it's essentially like a loan to me to get that money up front so I can prepare my property. And then that is taken at closing. Correct?
Yep, that's exactly right. And I think you did a great job of defining it. And a lot of people don't understand that it's at zero interest. So Compass is loaning you that money, zero interest. There is usually a small fee, like $500 to originate the loan, but it's a soft credit check, so it won't impact your ability to get a loan if you're buying a home. It's free money to take advantage of while you use your own resources.
Yeah, I think, and there's certain segments of the market where this is like really, really important. And also some seasonality. I mean, fresh paint, updated light fixtures, new carpet, maybe refreshing like landscaping. Like it really goes a long way. And I always tell people like, not everyone's a visionary. Not everyone can walk into a space and be like, oh my gosh, like let's imagine this like hot pink bedroom. Let's think of it white, or this awful gaudy chandelier in the entryway. Like, what if you could build a nice, really modern light fixture here? Some people just can't see past what's there. And just taking the guessing game out of it and having this like blank slate is so important.
Yeah, I think it's noticeable when it's not done, right? And it's not necessarily noticed when it is done per se, but if it isn't done, it's so noticeable and gets in the way of a good deal. So yeah, it's insanely distracting. And I think, you know, you want people to come in and not see any issues or any things that they need to do right off the bat, right? I think a lot of people want places where they can just move in and be ready to go. And I think if you can take out that guesswork with them, that's really important, gives you a leg up.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've talked about a lot of things with Compass so far, but something we haven't delved into much is Compass PR and our resources available to consumers, to listers, really, to people that are listing their homes with Compass PR. So what do you all know about that?
The luxury threshold, I know some pieces about that. If there's some unique properties that you just had one, there's additional advertising there. There's exclusive like publications that the national office will do in terms of, I can't think of what the flip book's called.
Oh, curated?
Your curated magazine.
Yeah.
Of like curated properties of like very good coffee table book, honestly. What else can they do?
Yeah. What do you seen or used?
Yeah, so it's a robust department that helps us secure spots, free advertising essentially for our listings that are unique or maybe have set a record price point or have a story to tell that maybe somebody famous lived there in the past. And so most of the team is based in New York, but there are people throughout the country that help us with PR placement. And so it helps us get placement in Architectural Digest and Dwell Magazine and local publications like in Northern Colorado, that would be NoCo Style or the Coloradoan or the Denver Post. But essentially, for unique properties, getting that placement with a company like Compass in their PR department is super unique and important. You know, if you're working with a smaller local brokerage, they may not have that PR ability to get a lot of the national recognition that we can here. So it's certainly something that's...
And I guess this is a question, but can they do that when they're on the private exclusive, or do they need to be active and live for the...
They would have to be active and live to publicly market in that way. But you can get PR campaigns and alerts out to
start communicating with that, get that ball rolling.
while your private exclusive were coming soon. Yeah,
That's nice. I think like one thing I really enjoy about Compass, like it is the largest brokerage in the nation globally now, but they take feedback. And I think the platform is always evolving and we're able to give feedback in terms of like how it's interfacing with ourselves and like our clients, and like giving the feedback I think is really helpful. Talk about this like PR thing. Like I don't think that's always been the case, but like through like feedback and like brokers' experiences and requests, all of these additional services have come about, whether that be like the luxury threshold marketing, some of like the ways that we interface in like our platform on like the business side in terms of like creating CMAs for clients and how they access them. Like I know it was a ticket that you have done. So I think that's one thing that I really appreciate about the brand in terms of the technology and just all of the extra things that it can do, is that it's always evolving, it's always changing, and like it's always meeting the consumer where they need to be.
That's also on the consumer-facing side. So in all of the consumer technology, whether it's Compass One or collections or just listings that are consumer-facing, there's always a button at the bottom to report issues or get feedback. And they take it seriously. So like if it's your listing, you'll get an alert that that's happening, even though there's a correction happening on the support side that a consumer has reported. And then they'll also follow up with how they resolved it. And they're usually quick on it.
Yeah.
That is not the experience at every brokerage.
No, and I think it's because the brokerage owns the platform, and it's not like a subsidiary or a partnership. Like Compass is the brand, it is the technology, it's all.
And they want to be the best, and they want to make it the best, for their clients. And I think that's important.
I think it really comes back to why Robert Rufkin founded the company. So his mom was a real estate agent while he was growing up, and she still sells. Ruth. So working in a career in finance, Robert saw this opportunity in real estate to really be focused on the consumer experience and the broker experience and make it easier for both of those people. And I feel like Compass has done a good job of keeping that consistent even over the last decade. They've had so much growth and expansion and
They've
acquisition.
kept that at the heart, right, of everything that they're doing. And I feel like our clients feel that, we feel that, and gosh, that's amazing.
I've had so many people that have come to work with us here in Northern Colorado that have an agent that's Compass so in some other region, and they just talk about the great experience they had with the interaction of the company or that agent, and they wanted the same thing here. And so I think you're exactly right. People love it. So.
And there's the quality control. And like you can interface with like multiple different searches and working with different agents. Like we have a client who's relocating from Texas, and they just completed a purchase in very local area that are looking for a second home up here, and they're able to like interface in terms of like working with Kelly or working with their agent in Austin, and like it's one-stop shop, even though they're working on multiple transactions, which is super nice. And they're able to really interface, like, let's say you have a seller who's also a buyer, being able to delineate those in one spot really clean is super, super nice.
Or you can just try to keep track of your email.
Yeah.
Keep it all straight.
Yeah, it just really does simplify and give you, like you said, that one-stop shop. Because, everyone's busy, and any way that you can keep this really important transaction simplified, I think is important.
So to wrap this all up, two things to both of you. So the real estate world is changing quickly and rapidly right now, as it always does. But where do you think the next 5-10 years lies in real estate as it relates to Compass? And then secondly, just what's your favorite part of being at Compass today? We talked about why you came, but what's your favorite part of being here now?
Gosh, my favorite part of being here is just my team. Obviously, love you guys, and we all just hold each other to high standards and just make each other better. And I think that's really important and awesome. And we have Compass on our back, like carrying us and supporting us. And yeah, I guess over the next 5-10 years, I just see Compass continuing to perfect and make this profession just notable and simpler, and just provide help throughout the entire transaction, because that's going to continue happening.
Yeah. Echo in terms of what you said in terms of your favorite thing. I think the people we work with is huge. I love our team up in Northern Colorado. I feel like we all do a really great job. And just the expansive network professionally across the nation. We have met brokers from all over. I mean, 2 weeks ago, someone was like, hey, do you know a Compass agent in Fort Collins? I'm here on a college tour with my daughter, and I want to go work around. So an agent connected us, and I gave them like a quick tour that day. So it's just
That AJ, you met in Aspen last year.
yeah. So it's just like all these connections, and it's such a small world, and being able
And cool, it brings
Yeah.
so many people together, right?
and they're all like high performing professionals, and I think it just is a really good standard. And then in terms of the next 5 to 10 years, I continue seeing Compass growing, the platform evolving, and just really focusing on the consumer experience.
I feel like the Compass platform is coming out with new features like pretty frequently. So, I think they've always got something going on.
Yeah. 100% of you.
Yeah, I would say the thing that I love the most about being at Compass now is, the collaboration between agents, like you both are saying, and with staff.
Yeah.
So, I know if I ever have an issue or need something, I can pick up the phone and talk to our regional vice president within moments. She's going to pick up. Or I have Robert Refkin's cell phone, and he picks up his phone. But he picks up, or he calls you back, which is crazy. And but people really do have your back at this company, and it makes me feel really good.
They really care.
And then second, to the second question, where do I see things going in the next 5 to 10 years? Because of this acquisition with Anywhere, Compass does have a lot of influence in the industry. And what I'm really excited about is the possibility potentially of data streams centralizing. So right now we have thousands of MLSs across the country, and they all have different data fields and the different ways that they share information and different roles, and it makes it very challenging for consumers, frankly. And I could see a point where those things are all unified and providing the same experience to consumers across the country, giving the same access to information. And I hope that's really on the forefront, and I think Compass will probably play a big role in that. And then I'm just really excited to see what else comes in terms of marketing for our listings, because there are so many different ways to positively expose our listings to consumers and get the highest price for our sellers, have the best experience for our sellers, and I don't see anybody else leading the charge quite like Compass does. So
Yeah, Compass has a lot of people working for them to really make this experience best for consumers and clients.
yeah, 100%. So I think that's it for us this week. We'll see you all next time.